Hi friends, good evening. Welcome to Shankaran IA Study Circle. This is Dr. Harinath Reddy, Director of the Institute. Today in this particular video, we will try to discuss about asymmetrical federalism. So there is a possibility that a question may come on asymmetrical federalism in the context of doing away with the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir in the recent past. So a question may come like this: is India an example for asymmetrical federalism? Is India an example for asymmetrical federalism? And then the second part of the question: asymmetry in the federal provisions, does it favor stability or instability? Stability or instability? Instability. So this is how a question might come. So I am repeating the question: is India an example for asymmetrical federalism, and does asymmetry favor stability or instability of the Indian Federation? So let us discuss this question in detail, and let's begin with what is federal constitution. What is federal constitution? This I have discussed multiple times. Very briefly, a federal constitution is one wherein there is a division of powers between the national and regional governments through a constitutional document. So in other words, the national government and the regional governments will have independent existence and both derive their authority from the constitution. So that is the definition of federal constitution. So a federal constitution is one which provides for the division of powers between the national and regional governments, and each of these governments are autonomous and independent in the respective sphere which is assigned to that particular government. And as I told earlier, United States of America is the first country to have a federal constitution in the world in the modern context. Then comes in the next one: what do you mean by asymmetrical federalism? Asymmetrical federalism. And the second one, symmetrical federalism. Symmetrical federalism. Symmetrical federalism, asymmetrical federalism. Then what do you mean by symmetrical federalism? So as the word itself is a self-explanatory, symmetrical, equal. For example, if you take the United States of America, it is an example for symmetrical federalism. There are 50 states in America. All these 50 states, they enjoy equal status and power. So if the units of the federation, if all the units of the federation, if they enjoy the equal powers and the equal status, then that is called a symmetrical federalism. United States of America is a very good example. So in United States of America, there are 50 states. All these 50 states, they enjoy equal status and autonomy. Then what is asymmetrical federalism? So asymmetrical federalism is one wherein the units of the federation, they do not enjoy the equal status and autonomy. So in a country with a federal constitution, if different units in the federation, if they enjoy different status and if they don't enjoy the equal status and autonomy, then that is called asymmetrical federalism. For this we have a number of examples. India is one example. India, Canada, Belgium, Spain, etc. India, Canada, Belgium, Spain. Why do we say that these countries are asymmetrical? For example, if you take India, till recently Jammu and Kashmir had a special autonomy compared to the remaining states. Even in the remaining states which we have now in India, that is 28 states, there are certain states for which there are special provisions in the constitution. So articles from 371, starting from articles 371, we have a number of articles which provide some kind of special provision with respect to certain states. For example, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Nagaland. Like this, there are certain states in India which have certain special status accorded to them, and this is not available to the remaining states. So that's why India is an example for asymmetrical federalism. Even in Canada, Quebec province, where the French speaking people are in majority, this province was given some kind of greater autonomy compared to the other provinces in Canada. So that's about asymmetrical federalism, symmetrical federalism. To summarize, a symmetrical federalism refers to all the units of the federation enjoying the same status. Asymmetrical federalism refers to the different units of federation doesn't enjoy the equal status. Some may have certain privileges conferred on them, some may have special status given to them, some may have greater autonomy given to them. That is called asymmetrical federalism. America an example for symmetrical federalism, and India, Canada, Belgium span. India, Canada, Belgium, Spain, they are examples for asymmetrical federalism. Then within this asymmetrical federalism, we have categories: de jure asymmetry, de facto asymmetry, de jure asymmetry, de facto asymmetry. Then what do you mean by de jure asymmetry? If asymmetry is created by the provisions of the Indian Constitution, if asymmetry is created through the provisions of the Constitution, then that is called a de jure asymmetry. If asymmetry is created by the provisions of the Constitution itself, then it is called a de jure asymmetry. I told the articles, a number of articles starting from 371, they accord special status to certain states, and this is mentioned in the Constitution. So this is an example for de jure asymmetry. Then in states like Maharashtra and Gujarat, for the development of the backward regions, there is a provision for the establishment of regional development boards, and this is again mentioned in the Constitution of India. So setting up of regional development boards for the development of the backward regions again is an example for de jure asymmetry. Then again, 5th schedule and 6th schedule areas. 5th schedule and 6th schedule areas under Article 244. Article 244 of the Indian Constitution speaks about 5th schedule and 6th schedule areas. So to protect the interests of the tribal communities in certain pockets of India, constitutional safeguards were given to these tribal communities in the form of 5th schedule and 6th schedule. This is again an example for a de jure asymmetry, because it is clearly mentioned in the Indian Constitution. What is clearly mentioned? Protection to the interests of the tribal communities in the form of 5th schedule and 6th schedule under Article 244. So all these are examples for a de jure asymmetry, asymmetry which is mentioned in the Constitution, asymmetry which is created through the provisions of the Constitution, that is called de jure asymmetry. Similarly, we have de facto asymmetry, asymmetry which is created because of the policy of the government. It's not because of a provision in the Constitution, but it is because of the policy of the government. This is called a de facto asymmetry. So we can give examples. For example, in India, 11 states they have been given special category status. 7 states in Northeast India, Sikkim, and 3 Himalayan hilly states. Remember, Sikkim is not part of Northeast India. So 7 states in Northeast India, Sikkim, together 8 states, and 3 hilly states. Now Jammu and Kashmir is no more a state. Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh. So 10 states in India, they enjoy special category status. And a special category status, it is recommended by Finance Commission of India way back in 1970s and 1980s. So it is a policy of the government which is taken up on the recommendations of the Finance Commission of India, but it is nowhere mentioned in the Constitution of India. So that's why it is called de facto asymmetry. So right? So what we have discussed so far, federalism broadly classified into symmetrical federalism, asymmetrical federalism. And then this asymmetry can be de jure asymmetry, it can also be de facto asymmetry. What is a de jure asymmetry? De jure asymmetry is one which is created through the provisions of the Constitution. De facto asymmetry is one which is created through the policy of the government. In addition to this, we have symmetry at the state level, asymmetry at the state level, asymmetry at the intra-state level, intra-state, within the state. So an example for symmetry at the state level, asymmetry at the state level, I told from Article 371 to Article 371J. From Articles 371 to 371J, they give an example for asymmetry at the state level. So certain states had certain special treatment accorded which is not available to the other states, that is called state level asymmetry. Then intra-state asymmetry or sub-state asymmetry, asymmetry below the level of the state. Here we can give as an example 5th schedule and 6th schedule areas. So in Northeast India, in 4 states, Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram, we have 6th schedule areas. In all these 4 states where there are 6th schedule areas, within that state, these areas are treated specially, they are given autonomy in terms of governance. This is called intra-state asymmetry. Within a state, certain pockets where there is tribal population were given self-governance. This is called sub-state asymmetry. 5th schedule areas and 6th schedule areas are examples for sub-state asymmetry. Then the next question is, what are the reasons why there is asymmetry in the Indian federal setup? What are the reasons? There are a number of reasons for asymmetry in the Indian Constitution. For example, if you take the religious minorities in this country, the religious minorities in this country, they are given not only equal treatment but even favored treatment. There are certain privileges which are conferred on religious minorities which are not available even to the majority Hindu community. And why that is done? This is again one kind of asymmetry. The reason is, when India got independence on 15th August 1947, well before this, the religious minorities in this country, they had a sense of insecurity to continue in this country. So to create a sense of security and to encourage the religious minorities to have a sense of loyalty towards the Indian nation state, the framers of the Indian Constitution, in their best wisdom, not only given equal rights to the religious minorities, but even given them certain privileges which are not available even to the majority Hindu community. So here what is very important, why there is asymmetry? The framers of the Indian Constitution, they are very much worried about protecting the unity and integrity of India. So if there is a sense of insecurity in the minds of the religious minorities, getting their loyalty towards the Indian nation state is very difficult, and that may undermine the unity and integrity of India. That is the reason why there is asymmetry. In addition to this, I told some of the states in Northeast India to 371 to 371J. Some of the states, some of the articles in this group, they give a favored treatment for certain ethnic communities in Northeast India. This is again, for example, Nagas. Nagas from the very beginning, they don't want to be part of Indian Union. They wanted to secede from Indian Union and they wanted a separate homeland for them. Even Mahatma Gandhi didn't object to them. But we have forcibly held them as part of Indian Union. So to pacify the aspirations of such ethnic communities in Northeast India, we had incorporated the 6th schedule councils in Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. So this is one more reason why there is asymmetry, to satisfy the aspirations of certain ethnic communities in Northeast India. Second reason. First reason, to create a sense of security in the minds of the religious minority communities. Second reason, to satisfy the aspirations of ethnic communities in Northeast India. And again there is a third reason. The third reason is to protect the interests of certain disadvantaged social groups. In India, it is the tribals who are the most backward and disadvantaged. So to protect the interests of the tribal communities in India, under Article 244, we have inserted 5th schedule and 6th schedule areas. So this is the third reason why there is asymmetry. For the reason of protecting the interests of the tribal communities who are the most disadvantaged, we have created a sense of asymmetry. Asymmetry in the sense, self-governance which is given to the people in the 6th schedule areas, and some kind of self-governance like the PESA Act in the 5th schedule areas were not available in other parts of the country. This is again one more reason why there is asymmetry. In addition to this, some of the states like Jammu and Kashmir till recently, they were given special status because at the time of Jammu and Kashmir acceding to the Indian Union, the then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru wanted to give a favored treatment, a special status to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and as a promise made by Nehru, till recently Jammu and Kashmir had special autonomy under Article 370. This was done away with in the recent past through a presidential order. So these are the several reasons why there is asymmetry in the provisions of the Indian Constitution. One is to protect the interests of the religious minorities, to protect the interests of the tribal groups which are most disadvantaged, to satisfy the aspirations of ethnic communities, and states like Jammu and Kashmir, the historical backdrop in which J&K became part of India necessitated special autonomy to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. In addition to this, under Article 371, in the state of Maharashtra and Gujarat, for the development of the backward regions like Marathwada, Kutch and Saurashtra, there is a provision for the establishment of regional development boards. Here again, why there is a favored treatment for certain backward regions? It is to bring these regions on par with the developed parts of the rest of the country. So again there is one more reason for asymmetry, to address the problems of the backward regions. So like this, in the Indian context, there are around 5 reasons why there is asymmetry. Then the next question, and the most important question, is stability or instability. Stability or instability. Stability or instability. So the question is, asymmetry in any federal constitution, does it create stability or instability? There is one school of thought which says that symmetry in the federal setup will create greater stability, and for this examples are given. For example, United States of America is an example for symmetrical federalism, and for the last more than 200 years, American nation state has enjoyed stability, political stability. But on the contrary, there is another school of thought which says that asymmetry in a federal setup will try to solve certain special problems relating to special regions or special categories of people, and that will guarantee a sense of security, and that will in course of time will be responsible for greater stability. And examples were given. Countries like India, Belgium, Canada, all these are federations which are asymmetrical but enjoying political stability. So there is a divided opinion, but a vast majority of the scholars, they believe that asymmetry in a federal setup will guarantee greater stability than symmetry. But this asymmetry shall be based on transparent and objective criteria. This asymmetry must be based on transparent and objective criteria which are appreciated by the people. So asymmetry in any federal setup will continue to give political stability provided there are compelling reasons for that asymmetry. There are transparent and objective criteria for that asymmetry. Otherwise, if there is asymmetry on the basis of discretionary criteria, that will create instability rather than stability. So that's how you can conclude the answer. So there is one school of thought which says that symmetry will promote stability, but a vast majority of the scholars, they believe that asymmetry which is based on transparent and objective criteria and for compelling reasons may promote political stability of a federal constitution. And there are examples given for these two. America was given as an example for symmetry creating political stability. And countries like Canada, Belgium, India were given as examples for asymmetry responsible for political stability. So what we can conclude saying that asymmetry, if it is guided by a transparent and objective criteria, and if it is guided by compelling reasons, will create political stability. So that will be your conclusion. So that's it about the question and the answer for this question. What is the question? Is India an example for asymmetrical federalism? Does asymmetry create stability or instability? So this explanation is more than adequate to answer that question. Thank you.